Alright, today we've had some changes since the initial 8.0 launch, where the whole game was like turned on its head. It became a new game. We have since also had another little update. So what used to be the whole system of fast and slow, skipping turns, making more turns for yourself so the opponents don't get it. That has semi been fixed only by they nerfed both the spells for slow and haste. So they nerfed the sugar rush, and then they also nerfed the snowies. So it used to be guaranteed stun on the first target opponent, and then potential chances for more on further. And so what it used to do, it used to go out stun and slow things, and then potentially stun more. And so now it's got limited chance on stunning, and it's far slower to charge. For Sugar Rush, they've just like doubled the time it takes to charge, so you can't get it off in one single round, which is good and bad. So what they've done to nerf is just like made it take double as long, and that means you only get to use it once, maybe twice in a whole game, which is it has its plus and minuses. Plus that you don't get into the skipping turns craziness that we used to. There's still a little bit of that and reordering, but it's not as crazy as like getting constant new turns. So it's kind of still there, but it's not. So one thing I was thinking about is the old Sugar Rush, with the old way of playing, with the board with dragging and choosing your positions. Using Sugar Rush, you could usually only get 1 to 2 of your characters, unless all your characters are gathered up in one spot of the board, which had its own disadvantages, because other characters that would then do AoEs would hit all your characters and you'd all be bunched up for targeting and things like that. Whereas if you have things, something at the front, something at the back, something in the middle, you could get 1, maybe 2 if you angled it right in a sweet spot in between. One thing that I thought potentially could have helped Sugar Rush, so instead of just doubling the time and it hastes all teammates, why not have it in like such a targeting position where you drop it down on something and you can potentially affect the ones next to it, and then it can still be fast and it can still charge a lot. So kind of like how Duke here works. He flies in and inflicts vulnerable on the adjacent opponent. So he hits the opponent that you choose, and then any adjacent. So why not do something like that with Sugar Rush, so it doesn't affect the whole team? Don't mean they have to nerf and double the whole speed, so it's not really usable. But then you can get off on like maybe 1 to 2 people hasted or something like that, is what I was thinking of. And I've still got to learn how like the adjacent opponents, because I've found there's only one. There's one next to it. It's not, even though it says opponents, although I'm still playing with this, and still learning how some of these are working. I just have that's one of the problems with 8.0, is not really flashed and perfected at the moment. It kind of got in nearly everything that does area damage, AoEs, affects everything. And that's one of the problems with the old system, where you'd choose areas and then like bots would only choose like circled in on one thing, whereas you potentially get both of these two by hitting in the middle and then hitting like just on both of the targets. Whereas now it's just like everything or one kind of thing, and then with a few things that are doing like adjacents or in a line, or it's just not quite as polished as the old system, I think. As the old system was very polished, whereas this one is a whole lot more general, and it's very like AoE everything for nearly everything, and it's like a bulk blanket just thrown over everything. So that's kind of like a good and bad that has been slapped on. And that's kind of like 8.0 is kind of like a good and bad. Or no, it's now 8.1 or 8.2. 8.1, I think. Anyway, so getting away from that, so that has changed things up tremendously. We have also just received news in today that I saw, is that there is a new, they kind of gave us a arena codex. So and this is just something that they needed for so long. A little explanation about how everything works. So it says collect gear plus you gather these items, tear up, dungeon mode. You crawl through here, runs for 7 days, and then refreshes at the end. So see how fast you can go. Although I suppose it could be in a little bit better. So you work with your club to find the correct path. It still like doesn't have any of the good rewards, so it's kind of like not very beneficial to work together as a club. Club Conquest says when you're level 20 you can join a club and then try and get Davies tokens, which is still very nerfed. You can't get very many. Season pass holder kind of says, you work through the pass holder, get rewards, and you can get pass holder gold for more rewards. Grand Arena, you can go in here with top 10 chances, get in the top 10 to earn Hades tokens, and it actually states here that your rewards will be received at 9 p.m. local time, so it's kind of good that they are saying that now, and just a little bit of clarification and showing people exactly how things work and things like that. So that is something that's been needed, and that's great that we've had that come in. Now, I've held off on this. We got an Aladdin event, and I went in to do it, and this kind of made me feel kind of like I wanted to make sure I did this on video, because this is one of those ones where you complete it, you can only do it once, and then you can't jump back in and play again. So I wanted to jump in and just talk about this as we're going. And let us see. One thing I do like now that the haste and the slow shenanigans isn't happening is that it does mean it's a little bit more viable to use all sorts of different other spells. So, like, one thing I don't like about the whole turn-based thing, it's got far less reason to play properly yourself. I just put auto on, and it just auto wins itself, because everything is AoE, everything is all targeting, everything is just high damage and speed. That's a lot more basic, not as thoughtful. And previously, these events, you had to have like certain targets, keep yourself safe, watch out for falling rocks. It was very about movement and positions, and you had to defeat things in the front to get to the ones at the back. Whereas now it's kind of this AoE high damage, choose whatever you want. Like kind of like this. This is just everything's just. I've just got a team on. There's lots of AoEs, lots of high damage, and is just winning itself. Jafar, which, I mean, look at that. Pro broccoli. I still love that, and I still haven't done that video, which is still going to be coming of the old way in a strategy and team that I found on the original one. So there's the 11, and it's gone. It's gone. So I just wanted to make sure that was on a video. So we did receive that, and I forgot to look at go through the reward, but the rewards were like 5 Aladdin tokens, 5, 10, 10, and it got you enough to unlock like a 3 or 4 star Aladdin. And it seemed to me a lot of like the original players who already had Aladdin, we worked on Aladdin for many of the other events that have come up. This seemed like a very like a beginner themed event, and I was like, okay, maybe the other parts of the Aladdin ones will come after this, and then you'll have chances at getting more tokens or more other items like we've seen in the past. Lo and behold, nothing to do with Aladdin, Oogie Boogie event turns up. And to get Jack Skeleton tokens and as well as Sally tokens. And I was like, wow. So defeat all enemies, Jack Skeleton inflicts heal block for 2 turns when he deals damage. Okay, oh yeah. And so that all goes down. And then when you get down further, this is kind of like more what the events used to be like, having a bit more depth into what you could and couldn't do. Although I'm still finding these more recent events a lot more basic. And the events that I love the most in the old way were the ones like the Robin Hoods, the Aladdins, and even the Toy Story one was pretty cool. A little bit easier, but still pretty cool. The ones that had a bit more of a unique playstyle that you had to play differently in, and it was a lot more about your board positioning and strategies and things like that. And like Robin Hood, they had walls that you had to break to get through to things, the enemies behind, and you had to try and keep a pig safe and not let it get knocked out. Even with this, the Lion King Scar event, the hardest one ever, the one I did a video on, that you had to keep Rafiki alive, that was kind of cool. And this is the kind of looks like what they're going down with this as well. So in here, like, defeat all enemies, Jack Skeleton does a heal block when he does damage. Jack Skeleton, if he's defeated, you lose the battle. And then Oogie Boogie heals 15% more when he defeats his ally. So you have to keep Jack alive now. And yes, mine is maxed, so that's not going to be too hard for me in these easy and early games. And that's going to be going down the whole way, the same thing, no difference until the end. So one thing I do notice is that all up ahead, each level you're getting gifted 5 Sally tokens, 5 Jack ones, all the way down until it changes the mode and it gets a bit harder. Then you're going to get 10 of the Sally tokens and 10 all the way down. So then you end up with 60 tokens, which is enough for 4-star, I think. 4-star, heading towards a 5-star. But then everything else is only one chance token. All the other events that we previously had, will be one at the end, down the start, while people are starting and unlocking, gifting free while you can unlock. Because so for 1-star, you need 10 to unlock, 2-star, 15, 25, 30, and onwards, something like that. So with this, for higher levels, 1 token is getting nothing, because then it goes from 30, jumps up to 65. 65 jumps up to 85. 85 jumps up to 100. So this is an event definitely geared towards not letting people max and work hard to get a max reward, and it's only a chance at one. It's not a guaranteed one. So you can play the event over and over and over and over, and you might get, for a few refreshers, you might only get a couple of tokens. That's ouch. It hurts. So we'll see if it's going to be viable or not, whether it's worth it or not. But I like that we've got an event and there's a new character that has been added to the game, and you can check on her. So her abilities do look quite good as well, by the way. So she deals damage, but by the end she'll also be getting 30% to gain an extra attack when people have fear. So working good with Jack. And other fear-giving characters and things. And then she has a chance to inflict slow, with one of her abilities. And I was like, oh, that is quite good. And potentially sleep. So sleep and slow, burn a turn and take longer for them to have the turn, which is pretty good. Very good, actually. And then inflict blind, and then more 50% damage for fear, and then also on top of that, increase your speed meter by 30% if Jack is there. So that is interesting, very interesting. It'll be interesting to see how they actually work. And then for her passive, on her turn, she restores health. It'll be interesting to see how much health that actually is when she's maxed or compared to other things. Increase and restored health for 30% if this character is affected by a Jack Skeleton Pumpkin Shield. So Jack Skeleton has like a little ability that he can give a shield to somebody. So if she's got that, she's going to have 30% more increase. So it'll be interesting to see how much she actually gets. And then also has a 20% chance to gain undefeatable every round, which is pretty good. Pretty good to get undefeatable. So she's looking like she could be alright. Will be very interesting to play with. Potentially do high damage against a fair team. And I like, that's one thing I do like with team building and all that kind of stuff, is having to be able to build teams around A with like just standard combos like her and Jack, yes, from same things, but then you can also mix in with other characters that potentially could do things like a fair team or a sleep team or a slow team. So that's pretty cool. So interesting. I'm very interested to see what she is like. Now let's finish off and grab these. They've also, with the last update, they've also given us a VIP system, which I haven't touched on, but you can pretty much buy VIP, and this is actually a suggestion I gave them like halfway through, just before the initial global launch was going to be on like the old system, the real turn-based system, before they said they're going to delay it. And obviously probably the delay was because they decided they're going to roll this out instead and turn it turn-based. So I said, there have been lots of people that have been struggling with ads in this app. And ads are unavailable and all this other kind of stuff. And there are also people, I was like, you know what, there are going to be people who A, don't want to watch ads, B, don't want their children to watch ads if their children are playing games, C, don't want to waste time trying to load ads, clicking through ads, all this other kind of stuff. And because it's one of those things is that if you want to jump in to play a game, you want to play the game. You don't want to be always watching ads and doing like all this other stuff. So I said, why not add in like a premium option that you can just pay a subscription fee per month, a small fee, as much as it would cost them on the ad revenue for yourselves. Just give them that. Get them to pay that amount, so you're gonna maybe a little bit more, so you don't lose anything, or you're actually gaining something by getting that straight money rather than having to go through advertisers. You're just gaining it and giving the people a reward for it, and then the people can just skip having to watch things all the time, just claim everything automatically. Is kind of what my suggestion was. And they've actually taken that, and so, but they've also given it with a gem deal, so they bumped up the price. I was thinking more like a $5, although granted my prices are not US, so my price is like double of what US will be paying for anything like this. So this will be what, an $8 equivalent or something like that. So I was thinking more like the $5 mark ish is what I was thinking, but I suppose $8 is worth it for people as well. And then also goes up there for a deluxe, which is just more gems every day. So they've gone down a gem route with it. And then what that does is that you can claim anything when you're doing energy. You can just claim VIP for anything that you normally have to watch an ad. And I think that's real cool. But also it gives you things like you can VIP, just grab everything in the shop and just purchase everything at once, which is, I suppose, good for a super whale that just wants to buy everything. But I'd like to see that option where it doesn't just buy everything that you already have maxed. It only buys the ones you don't max, because even a whale doesn't want to just be wasting their dosh. I suppose it'd be worth it for things like this, like maybe the gold one, you might VIP and just go buy all, and then just automatically all your piles are stocked up. But not so much of the character ones. So maybe with the gold one might be the only one that's worth it, or the token one here, and just going buy all. If so, this is the 7-star token. For anyone who hasn't seen it, is that when you max a character, their tokens become available to get with your excess max tokens. So interesting. It'll be interesting to see what happens, how this ends up looking. Yeah, very, very interested. So the VIP, I think personally, was there's been a little bit of reaction from the community saying, why are you giving things that we didn't ask for? We want you to fix the game. Like, we missed the real-time version. I do too. But we've missed the real-time version, and then things like, what, the game is so broken at the moment, and the gear increasing cost, which I've mentioned in previous videos, is super high now and it's unachievable. And they're saying they haven't mentioned any of this, and they've just added these features. Like, well, it shows they've been working on these for a long time, and then they've made changes like nerfing the slow and the hastes, because that was making the game nearly unplayable as well. So they did a harsh nerf, changed how things work completely, and then people were saying, why are you just changing things again? And now that things are costing so expensive, you're making this even more unplayable. So it's like, it's kind of like a double-edged sword for the devs. And I feel sorry for them for that. But part of it is because we were given an updated, not ready for release game. And us pretty much told us as beta testers, we're testing. But it's just not as enjoyable as the previous beta that we were in, that was like a complete finished game ready to go live. And a little bit more fun of a game too. But in terms of that, I do really like now, at least some things are a bit more viable. Like, I'm trying lots of different spells, and I would have loved to see lots of the buffs and characters and spells applied to the old game. Is what I love some aspects of where they're going. I just don't love the turn-based format of the game. And it's still a little bit broken. I'll see if I can jump into a match and show you all quickly that things like haste. Oh, I didn't even use a haste. I'll chuck one in here. So there are two spells. Just quickly before I do this, there are two spells that are still the clock tower. It just takes way too long for it to charge. A is one of the longest. Charging has got to go out there for a whole turn cycle, which can take a long time, and a lot can happen in a turn. But then once it does do its turn cycle, then it gives a bad effect on the opposing team that has to go for another turn cycle, and then it polymorphs. To get around this, I think they either need to make it faster to charge, so you can get out there faster and go through those turns, or B, happens so cut out the way to turn in between. Just have it so that it takes a long time to charge, and then boom, all of a sudden you're polymorphed into pumpkins. But like, that's not that in itself, and saying you're doing that, it just doesn't sound quite right either, because that's the whole point of what it is doing, is giving you a bad effect so you're getting ready and you have a chance to react to it. And doing the other way makes, even if it's a long charge, you can't react to it.
So hard things, and this is where it's difficult for the devs to find balance in changing so many different things and to changing the game completely. And same with explosives, it takes so long for them to get in there, then they've got to wait 2 turns once it's charged up, and then for it to boom. Which I think this was far too good previously, and it was abused by not abused, but so many people just relied on it to just out damage things in the previous meta of the real time game. So let's jump in here. I'll show you how fast. So this was nerfed like so much that I'll show you for an example. This I'd say the minions will be similar to the charging rate of the last haste or jellies, and now I think, well, maybe if not a little bit faster charging than what the aliens are currently. Well, I say aliens, minions. When I say minions, I don't mean like Despicable Me minions. I mean like the aliens as their little alien minions. So if we're just going through this, I'm just going to be doing attacks, just trying to build up my spell gauges just to show you all. So look at that. So the haste is way down. Previously, you'll be like having it near up the top, having it near ready to explode out, and you'll be like, yeah, have my turn. And now doing this, it's going to be kaboom. Now I've got the minions, and I want to be able to do nearly two minions between the time of me being able to get a haste. So I'm still not even half on the haste, and then already loading things up. And that's how much things were like. It got a harsh nerf to counter what was happening and the unfairness people were not enjoying. So even in doing this, if I can get out a little bit more. See, look at that, boom, charged again, and the other one's still not even near charged yet. So at the moment, it's pretty nasty. It's pretty nasty. How slow it takes. Like, see, look, I've nearly wiped a full team by the time the haste has charged, and the haste still hasn't charged yet. And that's what people are complaining about. Like, they harsh nerfed it because it was so good, and now it's just like completely irrelevant. Is that I can go in and wipe a whole team before I can even look at that and get that charged up right at the very end for the last character. I mean, that is the problem of the current system, the way the buffs and nerfs are going, and that's due to the game changing completely. So nearly 3 charges, nearly a whole game, nearly a whole team wiped to 1 charge. So that is the harshness of what we are currently going through, what we're to change and do. Now, my thoughts on all of those last things that I've just said, and one other thing is I touched on before with the gear prices increased. Now increasing that. Oh, the Jack Skellington is. Oh no, that's just the. I thought there was a nothing. Nothing's changed. One other thing is with the gear price increases. So from here, for to get maxed characters, you are going to need, say, make 4 of these, which is 40 strange fibers, and it's also 60 of these other little essences to make 1 of these, but then you need to times it by 5. So you then need to get 300 of the essence, and then you need to get 200 of strange fibers just for that 1 piece of this, as well as everything else that you need, times like 6 plus more, because there's 3 in this one, not just 1. And that's where, like, when you start timesing out things that much, that gets super hard. But in saying that, it is only on the final levels of characters that it is super high price. I've just went and upgraded everything to tier 3, because at the moment it's all quite easy, and even this tier is quite easy. You can go and you can find all of these, and they're grindable. You can find them all in the campaign and auto win and find more, get more. So if I go back and find a character that is missing some gear, so say I wanted to do Davy Jones. So I say, oh, I'm missing this gear and I need to find some of those. And then I go and which one's a better option? The top one's a better option. Hey, I want to do that. Boom. I've got 2 of the that is easy. And then getting these things, the brooms, there they are. That is cheap. So it's not that we're complaining about that. That is fine. All the low tiers are super cheap to get and easy to get, because you can grind them. You can use your energy to help you towards them. And I am actually currently buying all of these, because as you saw, my other broomstick stacks are all up around 200 to 100 to 200, and that was from previous game modes. So I'm just trying to load up now on these other ones. But you can find things for all the low levels until you are looking at the nearly getting to maxed, and then there's nothing farmable. Everything is only in the exchange, and then everything is only costing, say, where you want to find a difference. So here we go. Where are we? Don't have any of the new ones. So I think the droplets, the old ones are all 16, new ones are like 32 or something like that. Any here? No, none, because the arena has just changed for me. So I've actually got none. So things like that, I think they've given all the new items, made it super hard, and it seems like they've gone down the path. They're trying to go down the path of what's worked for other games and what is working for other games, rather than just sticking with what they had previously. Some of the things that people loved about this game, that fast, real time. So fast PvP, real time is what people love to it, and people came from all sorts of turn-based games and played it and loved this game. And now a lot of them have all left because they come from turn-based, and they've come for what it was, and now it's changed what it was, and it's doing what everybody else has been doing, and is no longer what people have come to enjoy. So I think there's kind of a slight they're undervalued or undersold what the game could have been by not going global with the old real-time version. I still personally hope that they might go back and release the old version, but I don't think that's anywhere near. I think they're committed for the turn-based by looking at what they're doing, which is sad. But hey, in saying that, sorry. So losing my check of mind. It looked like I've played lots of other games before, and lots of other people have too. And for like the highest tier, what they're just new to unlock to get to like the max tier, what are the highest level of items? The prices on the highest level of items are usually super expensive, so they're super hard to get to. And it makes people coming back, playing over and over and over, grinding, playing lots to try and get them. The problem with that is that at the moment, what we're given is it's going to take 3 to 6, 7 months, even just for like one character to get up with the amounts that we're needing. And we're just not seeing it through the rewards in the game to be rewarding enough to use. And
with new buffs to characters, 7-star characters getting like a 30% buff of health for any 7 or 7-star. That means if you have a character that's not 7-star at high level play, it's no good because you're going to be 30% less than everybody else. And that means, like, at the moment, I wouldn't be able to use Oogie Boogie because he's 1 token short of 7-star. I wouldn't be able to use Scrooge because he's a few tokens short of 7-star. I wouldn't be able to use Rafiki anymore because I'm well short of 7-star. And same with Merlin. And it's just like, because now I'm going to be handicapped by the 30% health gain in the last buff. If I haven't mentioned it previously in this video, it was everyone was given all 7-stars a way to combat people getting like one-shotted and games going too fast because of the haste issues and all the other stuff. They boosted the HP on the high end because the games are going too fast. But now, yeah, they're doing over changing things just to try and appease people, but not really having full thoughts behind it. Or there is definitely thought behind it, and they thought, well, this could happen, but it hasn't been well tested thoughts. They're just trying to help the audience, but because it's not well tested, as I was saying before, the last version of the game, the real time, was well tested and run smoothly, whereas this just hasn't, and then updates they're giving are not quite meshing. But yeah, so just about like now, previously you could have a 5-star that would compete with 7-stars. Now, as soon as you get the difference between 7-star and 6, like, but the difference between 5 and 6, not much. You can probably still use them. The difference between 6 and 7, massive jump. And that's the difference. And that, so like end of game, with the limiting of like Sally not being able to get to her tokens anywhere over 5-star, that means she's not going to be usable, so she's not worth investing in. And then if you've got to invest for like 3-6 months on a character that you're not going to be, it's just for like top end players, it's kind of like, wow, why? If people will be able to, like, if you want to sink holes of money into it, anyone can get them 7-star. But you're still going to put sinkholes of money into the gear to get that, and that's a giant event. Like, for a lot of people who are paying like passes and things like that, that's not appealing at all. So those are where some of the problems are at the moment. But it's nice to see that there's actually an event, because it's been a long time since we've had one. It's a little bit of a shame to see the way it looks like it's just, with 1 token the whole way through. I like that they're pretty much giving Sally out. That's kind of like nice just for unlocks. But 1 token the whole way through, even for the Jack Skellington, just saying, hey, you need to have Jack Skellington to progress, but yet they only want to give you 1 token for him. So saying for anyone who doesn't have a max, like I'm lucky enough that I do have a maxed, but anyone who doesn't have a maxed, for them to get above, we go 3 stars down to here, 4 stars, anything to get above 4 stars, you're going to be struggling getting like 1 token at a time. Whereas that would be previously backward around here, about the 3-4 star mark will be like, they'll go up to about 2 tokens each, which at least double your progression. And then for 4-star, you maybe go up to maybe 2 to 3 tokens, and yeah, likewise. So this one will probably be like 3 or 4, and then this one, I mean, new character, I understand if they don't want us to unlock everything straight away. I completely understand that they don't want people just walking in. They've got big, good enough characters and they can just unlock anything. I do understand that. But it's going against the way the game is going. Saying that we don't want you to have this character, and maxing is too easy, but then they're giving you a character that's not going to be usable.
So what's the point of even having a character besides someone who's got a collective game mode, like wants to play Pokemon and just want to collect them? I don't care about ranked PvP or PvP at all. And that's where this kind of feels like a lot of people who love this game love the PvP aspect and the live PvP and the playing each other and the strategy, and a lot of that feels like it's getting sucked out, or it's not hitting the targets, of the desired targets of the players or the devs by the seams of it. And we've seen in a lot of the top clubs at the moment, players are leaving by drones, and it's sad to see. And there was used to be a whole bunch of top clubs previously. It used to be like Disney Titans, Club 34 has been up there, but they've been like there's pretty much been like an inactive club for a long time. So if you checked in like the last check-in, like 3 days, 5 days, and a few hours, there's a lot of people like not playing 40 days, 50 days, 60 days, 70 days, 100 days. Wow. But what, like, for someone like Disney Titans, the top club where everyone like checks in 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 7 minutes, 20 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours. So this is like top club kind of stuff. And then previously we've had a whole bunch of other clubs, New Zealand Musketeers, a whole bunch of other ones that have all been at the top. And then Enhancers used to be, a lot of these people from Enhancers used to be in 34, and then they split off to make Enhancers to help younger ones grow. And this is a little bit of homage for them. That A, they've grown, but B, they've also had a lot of players like Disney Titans. We've had a lot of like nearly half of our club go, and a lot of the other top clubs have had half or more of their members go as well. And so we've absorbed a whole bunch of others because the other clubs are falling apart. So they want to join into the best club, and now all of a sudden it seems like Titans and Enhancers are the only ones left playing, and that's noticeable in the PvP. Is that mainly a lot of us Titans we've been talking, we'll see each other in PvP, we'll see Enhancers, and we will see like a few other. There's another club like me and the boys and one or two others that we do see. And there are other clubs out there, some people in other clubs out there still playing, but not many anymore. And I think that's one thing where like they've kind of like missed the boat with these updates, and I hope they can fix it. And a lot of us hope that the old type of real time does come back, and even with all these cool new character buffs and changes in the old format, and spell changes in the old format, and whatever else that is going, the directions that they want to go. But even if not, I hope they do be able to sort things out, and hopefully this has been informative. Let me know what you guys think. This has been so long, I've been rambling, but it's definitely been on my mind. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed. Let me know if there's anything I missed, and I'm just trying to speak out for the community, for you all, voice all your opinions, and so hopefully this has been helpful or enlightening or interesting to even look back on. If there are bigger giant changes in the future, I want to be able to look back and see, oh, look at what actually happened, because I feel like I missed a lot with the previous real-time game disappearing. And I'm like, oh man, I just didn't video things because they were just everyday stuff coming and going, and now they're gone. So that's what I'm going to be looking to do a bit more of this. Hopefully going to keep it shorter. I've just got a lot to say because I haven't been doing as many videos. So I will be looking to go back to short more often than these long ones. But hopefully this has been useful. Let me know what you guys think, and we'll see you guys next time.